Academic Staff Union of Universities says it is committed to ending 5-month strike.
We are not suspending this time. We want to end the strike. And we can only end the strike when the issue in contentious are met.
Water Resources Minister canvasses passage and implementation of National Water Resources Bill. There is hope that the NNPC will become a dynamic company of choice that will continue to deliver value to its stakeholders and global energy community. President Muhammadu Buhari stated this while unveiling Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, Africa's largest oil company. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports that the NNPC Limited has a mandate to achieve the desired energy security that will support sustainable growth of the nation's critical economic sectors.
It is indeed a new dawn for the nation's petroleum industry as President Muhammadu Buhari launches the rebirth of the NNPC Limited to deliver energy for today, energy for tomorrow. The landmark event in furtherance of the implementation of the Petroleum Industry Act formally positioned the NNPC and the entire oil and gas industry on the path to sustainable growth, profitability and prosperity.
NNPC Limited will operate as a commercial, independent and viable national oil company at par with its peers around the world to sustainably deliver value to its over 200 million shareholders and the global energy community, while adhering to its fundamental corporate values of integrity, excellence, and sustainability. It will, of course, conduct itself under the best international business practices in transparency, governance, and commercial viability.
Apart from being privileged to lead the creation of the NNPC 44 years ago as the then Petroleum Minister, President Muhammadu Buhari was also responsible for the signing of the PIA, heralding the long-awaited reforms of the oil and gas industry, including the rebirth of the NNPC.
I therefore thank Almighty God for choosing me to consistently play an important role in shaping the destiny of our national oil company from the good to the great. NNPC Limited is mandated to ensure Nigeria's national energy security is guaranteed, support sustainable growth across other sectors of the economy.
Both the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Timothy Silva, and the Group Chief Executive Officer of the NNPC Limited, Mele Kolokiari, thanked President Buhari for his unparalleled leadership, steadfastness, and unalloyed support towards ensuring that Nigeria's oil and gas industry is on a sound footing.
I know that expectations are high with this unveiling of NNPC Limited. I have no doubt that the clear path for the survival and growth of our petroleum industry is now before us.
This indeed is a new day, a new hope and a new opportunity to upscale our relevance in the global energy community as Africa's largest energy company. We have taken a strategic initiative to achieve our mandate of ensuring energy security for our country by rolling out a comprehensive expansion plan to grow our fuel retail presence from 547 to over 1,500 outlets within the next 6 months.
Before the coming into effect of the Petroleum Industry Act leading to the rebirth of the NNPC, $50 billion worth of investment eluded Nigeria, but not anymore. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
Key players in the oil industry say the new NNPC Limited is ready to take a leading role in the oil and gas sector. They stated this while commenting on the unveiling of the new company. Lydia Sampson reports.
This music by Dari Art Alade sets the tone for the beginning of NNPC Limited. The company is focused on providing energy for today and energy for tomorrow. Unveiling the NNPC Limited of today is not about forgetting the NNPC of yesterday. The museum of yesterday is all about taking us on a journey to where it all began 45 years ago. It all began as the States Oil Corporation, established on the 1st of April 1977. In addition to its exploration activities, the then corporation was given powers and operating interests in refining, petrochemicals and product transportation, as well as marketing. From its inception to the rebirth, NNPC has footprints across the value chains. Amongst NNPC's several subsidiaries are 2 partly owned subsidiaries, 16 associated companies, autonomous business units, as well as upstream company. NNPC operates joint venture partnership with virtually all international oil companies in Nigeria. This perhaps led to its former slogan, "We touch your lives in many ways." These resonate with key players here who believe the narrative is about changing for the better.
The best of NNPC is yet to come. This is the new best.
It's memorable as much as it is historical. And as you heard Mr. President say, when you talk about destiny, he is a man of destiny.
I'm sure this will turn around things. They will make more investment. They'll be able to raise more money and invest heavily in the oil and gas industry.
It's a huge potential that Nigerian can use for prosperity of its own people.
The beginning of creating the enabling environment for NNPC to thrive commercially.
It is about how we move NNPC to occupy the rightful position.
More agility, more, of course, operational excellence.
This is global into, a better economy for the interest of Nigerians. We know small ways, open the market, open the business.
For the first Group Chief Executive Officer of NNPC Limited, enforcing best international business practices cannot be compromised.
Skills are changed. You bring up new competencies in the people. We can train them. We have ability to do this.
For now, the expectations are high, with hopes that the new company will continue to unfold as Africa's largest oil company, as well as viable national oil company, delivering dividends to 200 million Nigerian shareholders. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
And the Monetary Policy Committee meeting of the Central Bank of Nigeria has increased monetary policy rate from 13% to 14%. Governor of the Apex Bank, Godwin Emefiele, disclosed this at the end of the 4th Monetary Policy Committee meeting for the year 2022. The committee retained the asymmetric corridor at plus 100 and minus 700 basis points around the MPR, as well as cash reserve ratio at 27.5% and liquidity ratio at 30%. The central bank governor said the decision will help curtail inflation, urging the banking sector to continue to use their development finance tool to support the agricultural and manufacturing sectors to boost growth. The resolution of CBN Monetary Policy Committee to increase the monetary policy rate by 100 basis points from 13% to 14% will make funds available to manufacturers to produce more goods and also moderate prices of goods. Analyzing the new CBN monetary policy on NTA Current Affairs program Nigeria Today, guests say the deliberate measure will bring down prices of goods, which will in turn set the trend for control of high inflation being experienced in the country currently.
The beautiful part is the development projects that are already going on. You see the RC 200, they have started growing from 3.2 billion to 20 billion in less than 1 quarter. If this continues, export continues, and this tightening begins to fall into place, and harvest periods in October kick in, by January next year, I think inflation should be declining back. And it's not really bad for us. You see the gap between us is just, we are still 15 to 18, so it's still controllable. If it goes out of hand, that's where we have problems. So this is the best time to strike.
Cheap funds are made available to real sector operators in the manufacturing, agriculture, even micro, small and medium enterprises. The expectation is that they will be able to produce goods and services relatively cheaply and then sell at relatively low prices.
Okay.
In other words, helping to bring prices of goods and services down.
To the guest, the country must prioritize its spending and control use of foreign exchange to influence the electoral process, which may impact the economy negatively. Nigeria has 6 to 9 months to ratify agreements reached at the 12th World Trade Organization's ministerial meeting held recently in Geneva, Switzerland. Speaking on her visit to Nigeria, the WTO Director General Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala says her home country stands the chance of benefiting from resolutions reached on the global economy.
The month of June saw a global solidarity by ministers of trade under the World Trade Organization in the city of Geneva, Switzerland. They deliberated, agreed, and made declarations on fisheries subsidies, overriding patterns to produce local vaccines, food security, trade waivers, e-commerce, and reforms in the WTO, among other issues bordering on global economy. In the month of July, the Director General is on her feet around the globe to ensure the decisions reached by the ministers is brought to good outcomes. And it begins with 2/3 of countries worldwide depositing their instrument of acceptance for the agreements to come into effect.
And I don't want it to take 2 or 3 years, the normal time these types of agreements take to come into effect. I want to do it within the next 6 to 9 months. And I would like Nigeria to be among the very first to deposit this instrument. Relevant stakeholders have met to specifically consider the agreement on fisheries subsidies and deliberated on how Nigeria can implement the agreement, while also taking advantage of the opportunities presented by the newly created WTO Fish Fund.
The conclusion on agreement on fisheries subsidy is a fulfillment of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 14.6, which the WTO is glad to accomplish after 21 years of stalemate. In Abuja, Benny Adams, NTA News.
There is the need for African countries to create a regional market with the establishment of quality infrastructure to boost intra-African trade, especially in the area of oil and gas. Minister of Mines and Hydrocarbons for Equatorial Guinea, Gabriel Mbega Obiang Lima, emphasized this in an exclusive interview with our correspondent, Oyeyemi Ajayi, while reacting to the effects of Russia-Ukraine war. He stressed the need to have fossil fuel for improved regional industrialization.
My view is that this incident between two neighboring countries, Russia and Ukraine, have taught us two very important lessons. And the first lesson is how much dependent we are on other continents. For example, it's I call it very sad that a big continent, a huge and important continent like Africa, is dependent on food coming from Russia and Ukraine. I mean, we have enough land, we have enough resources to have our own food. And the second thing is that at the same time, we are having a big problem of shortages of diesel and Jetta 1. So how can so many African countries produce oil and gas, and now we are dependent on the diesel coming from Russia? So the lesson is that we need to focus on creating our own markets. We have been for many years depending on exporting our products out of the continent. If Japan needs gas for electricity, we send it there. If the United States need oil for the industry, we send it there. But what about the continent itself? We have big countries in Africa, big economies in Africa, like South Africa, like Morocco, even Nigeria, that we are still not sending a product there. And to be able to do that, we need to focus on how to create those markets. The bigger problem of that is the lack of infrastructure.
And of business, Nigerian exporters and those aspiring have been urged to focus on product quality and packaging. Let's join Kunle Adeyeye for details.
The non-oil export sector has been active courtesy federal government's quest to diversify the economy and the proactiveness of the Nigerian Export Promotion Council (NNPC). This has led to the establishment of Nigeria's trade houses in Cairo, Egypt and Lomé in Togo. An exporter, Kafidat Abimbola Ayeni, has identified product quality and package as major hurdles exporters must cross to have their products on the shelves of international markets.
Where we are now, we should be ready for export. That is to say, we should start changing the type of packaging materials we use, quality of our packaging materials, and these are the things that should change our business plan completely to just not selling in Nigeria, but we need to sell in Africa, to sell across the globe generally. Let me use that word, not just Africa, because sincerely, we've shifted base. We're doing the EU market and we're doing the Arabian market as well. So all this came to play when we understood this. Whenever you set a goal, set it with a certain focus, and as you grow bit by bit, that focus, don't lose focus, just maintain it and hit the nail.
She was quite categorical that both exporters and intending ones must learn the dynamics of export trade before venturing into it. With business news, I'm Kule Adeye.
This is the news at 10, reaching you live from Abuja. Up ahead, ASUU committed to end industrial action. What? These and more reports shortly.
This is NTA News 24.
And thousands of smallholder farmers and livestock herders in the country are to be trained on the application of Junkao technology, a Chinese agricultural initiative for growing mushrooms to curb desertification. The African Union Development Agency has commenced a 3-day national workshop on the application of the technology in Abuja. Veterinary Ekman tells us more.
Developed by a Chinese university in 1986, Junkao is a hybrid grass used to grow mushrooms without cutting down trees and damaging the environment.
We use grass to cultivate mushroom and feed the human beings. At the same time, we use it for animal feed so that it will reduce the movement of the herders and brought them to one place.
With great potential for stimulating agro-businesses, this workshop is to introduce Junkao technology and build the capacity of peasant farmers for mushroom production.
It's better to make agriculture a business. We should also partner with the Chinese government for the export of the process. I want to please request again that the Chinese government partner with Nigerian government for domestication at our universities of agriculture.
This technology can be applied in Nigeria and we can make a difference.
This workshop is holding at a time when Nigeria is moving away from over-dependence on oil and diversifying into agriculture for sustenance.
How I wish if the government will sensitize all our local farmers to this type of things. I'm optimistic majority of our issues of harder clash will be things of the past.
When domesticated, the application of Junkao technology is expected to create thousands of direct and indirect jobs and boost Nigeria's economic diversification drive through agriculture. In Abuja, Veterinary Ikben, NTA News.
Federal Capital Territory Administration is poised to check the proliferation of unregistered veterinary facilities across the territory to curb activities of quacks in the profession. To this end, the FCT Minister of State Ramoto Tijani Aliyu presided over the inauguration of the FCT Veterinary Practicing Premises Committee in Abuja. Ifeanyi Izumba has details.
It's supported by all willing veterinarians. The PRB committee inaugurated.
The committee inaugurated will help regulate the activities of the veterinary premises not just to promote public health safety, but also align veterinary practices in Nigeria with the global best practice. FCT Minister of State Ramatu Tijani Aliu revealed that the committee constituted is in compliance with the official gazette.
We have taken measures to improve the state of facilities in our various abattoirs, as well as slaughter slabs. Similarly, we have strengthened our disease surveillance, monitoring and control system to mitigate the outbreak and spread of diseases in the Federal Capital Territory.
Who are giving this responsibility today, don't abuse the confidence proposed to you by your selection into this post.
Secretary, FCT, Agriculture and Rural Development Secretariat Abubakar Ibrahim pointed out that the increasing population surge in the territory has made it more difficult for the administration to effectively maintain the expected high standard. Terms of reference for the committee, amongst other things, is to identify and categorize all premises into different classes as provided, present the premises for certification and accreditation, and force compliance to government regulations. In Abuja, Ifani Isumba, NG News.
Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASUU, says it is committed to ending the 5-month strike. President of the union, Professor Emmanuel Osodeke, is of the view that the union has always respected the feelings of students and other stakeholders, but do not enjoy similar gesture concerning its demands.
So we are not suspending this time. We want to end the strike. And we can only end the strike when the issue in contentions are met. Nigerian children to be sure that when they are in school, they have permanent no strike again. By the federal government, one, signing and implementing the agreement we have negotiated with NNPC. Two, the federal government challenged ASUU. When we said IPs was not working, they said, can you produce alternative? So if they adopt that system, and finally, the past issue, revitalization fund, arrears of earn allowance. When government implement this, the union we can even call our member that same day to come here and we'll look at it and suspend the strike.
Now, the admission of Nigeria into one of the United Nations organs, United Towns Agency for North-South Cooperation, will further assist in the federal government's quest to even development plan. Country President of the agency, Abigail Chinyere Amalaha, gave this assurance to newsmen in Abuja. Adebola Brooksland Sunday reports.
Knowing the fact that government alone cannot completely meet the needs of the people is the reason Nigeria, as a member of the United Nations, joins the League of 110 other countries operating the United Town Agency for North-South Cooperation. Abigail Chinyere Amalaha is the first president of the agency in Nigeria. She pledged to make rural development a focal point in collaboration with traditional rulers.
Our immediate plan now is to embark on humanitarian activities, vulnerable rural communities of the Federal Capital Territory. Abuja, of course, is one of these scaling up assets of FCT rural communities to safe drinking water, quality healthcare, and education.
This is the very best time that NGOs have to be very active to be able to ameliorate, join government in ameliorating the sufferings of the people in all ramifications in various sectors of the economy.
The agency also seeks to defend the political rights of Nigerian electorates in the 2023 general elections by ensuring that their votes count in a free, fair, and transparent manner. Adebola Brooksland, NTA News.
Organizations found guilty of defaulting in their statutory contributions to the Industrial Training Fund are to face severe sanctions. This is one of the major provisions of the Industrial Training Fund Act Amendment Bill, which has been subjected to public hearing by the Senate Committee on Industry. Ignatius Onko reports.
When the Industrial Training Fund was established in 1971 and amended in 2011,
It was to establish and promote the acquisition of requisite industrial and commercial skills. 51 years down the line, this objective is far-fetched, hence the amendment of the Act for a second time. Non-compliance with statutory contributions to the fund, challenges of forgery, and the need to refocus the fund are the major objectives of the amendment.
To strengthen the industrial fund capacity to administer, supervise, and enforce the industrial training reforms. The role of the funds in overseeing the development of personnel is helpful to remaining competitive in human capacity development. You have already done. Okay, people have been some of these organizations that are not already made. There should be a penalty clause, okay, that will act as deterrents.
Some clauses in the Act amended in 2011 needs appropriate interpretation and should comply with global standard.
The changing trend across the globe on matters of technical vocational education and training in Tibet, the need becomes necessary to benchmark global best practices. The committee with the powers at the National Assembly should grant ITS other powers as it may deem necessary in order to fully carry out its assignment.
Time limit for the inauguration of the council, of the governing council, with full nomination and representation by all the statutory members, or anything that can be training that would help us get foreign exchange. The online thing as well will encourage most of our Nigerian youth.
At the end of this iteration, it is expected that the fund will produce requisite skills to handle the many jobs occupied by expatriates. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
You're still watching the news at 10 on NTA News 24 Abuja. There will be more reports after this break. Stay with us.
The day, 7 days a week. You can watch NTA International live on your TV, computer, iPad, tablet and phone. Log on visiontv.co.uk and click on Entertainment, then NTAI. You can also download the iOS or Android app on your mobile devices to watch NTA International on the go, anywhere in the world. NTA International. Your window through the world.
From dusk to dawn, 24 hours a day, NTA International is with you. In your living room, office, and everywhere, anywhere. We provide the company you desire in terms of balanced and up-to-date news, programs, and the best of entertainment.